Today, news of Fallout New Vegas, the 2010 Scream Awards, and a new Paranormal Activity movie hits the big screen. Lesson 1, your preview of Digital Fix. Fallout New Vegas has finally come out and it kicks a lot of ass, but it's full of a lot of glitches. From NCR members' heads flipping to invisible typewriters. But no need to worry, because Bethesda is not the Valve Corporation and they will fix this in a week. The 2010 Scream Awards just aired the 18th of this month, and for the third consecutive time in a row, fucking Twilight has beat over far superior fucking movies. I mean, how the hell does Twilight beat out Dark Knight and now Twilight beats out Inception? God, it's a shame to be a fan of pop culture sometimes. And finally, Paranormal Activity 2 has been released, and never has seen a door close and minor things happening every 20 minutes has been so excited. I just can't wait. I hope you people know I'm being sarcastic. Don't forget that Digital Fix will be a brand new show 5 days a week covering the news of pop culture with our host Ethan, who will bring kick-ass to your screen every week. With that said, I'm Spidey, and this has just been Digital Fix.
Throughout the 90s, zombie movies seemed to take a little break. There were barely any films about them, and the majority of ones that did come out failed in comparison to past films, with the exception of very few 90s gems. Things remained like this until the turn of the century with the return of George A. Romero, but not for the better. With the return of Romero came the return of zombies to the mainstream media, and expectations were high given Romero's past work. He was set to pull off a Star Wars on everyone and make another trilogy aiming to recreate the same epic cinematic experience he did with his first 3 zombie films. So out comes Romero's first film in his second trilogy entitled Land of the Dead. It was the biggest film in terms of budget, casting, production, and overall hype considering his return, and boy did it suck balls. You would think that a Romero film set in years into the end of the world would be something amazing, but it was just sheer garbage. It wasn't scary, suspenseful, or interesting. The special effects are cheaply done and would have looked bad even in the 70s, and the script is just poorly written. Social commentaries were weak, and the film completely butchered whatever potential it had to be good by blatantly adding a subplot about zombies learning while having a zombie leader. To boot, the film's ending is insulting to anyone with an IQ past 10. Romero would then follow up his letdown of a return with Diary of the Dead, which was a return to his indie style of filmmaking that made him famous in the first place. I for one was looking forward to this, and forgave him for Land of the Dead, since every director has his or her bad project every once in a while. The film was supposed to cover the events of the Dead Rising during the start, using the Steadicam tactic of filmmaking, which needed much improvement, so it's essentially a chronicle of a band of survivors trying to make it through the start of the end of the world. Sounds interesting? Well, too bad it wasn't. Again, the film failed and was more contrived and ridiculous than the last. Acting was bad, there were plot holes so big you can fall in them, and it did nothing to improve the Steadicam genre. As a matter of fact, it damaged it more by making it look dumber in a terrible film. Later, Romero will go on to make Survival of the Dead, which would complete his trilogy of garbage. The film is essentially the zombie version of the pro-life and abortion arguments. Same problems return from the last 2 films, but this time, the film looks like it was shot for $20, and it's such a big mess that it serves as a comedy more than anything else. For some reason, a master of horror lost his talent, and the father of zombie films put himself out via terrible films. So now what? Well, this is where we enter Shaun of the Dead. This British film was a genius spoof on the zombie genre that was quick, witty, hyperactive, and an overall funny and good time, it paid its dues to past zombie films via homaging them, and to this day, it has stood the test of time as a great cult film here and overseas. Zombies would also make their way into the video game world via the Resident Evil franchise, and the game's popularity spawned a slew of movies whose respect and quality are highly questionable. Games like the Dead Rising franchise aided in making zombies famous in the world of gaming, and even garbage like the Left 4 Dead series assisted in keeping zombies fresh in the world of games. Now zombies have become mainstream in the world of comics, with the very brilliant graphic novels by Robert Kirkman, The Walking Dead. It's essentially the story of people trying to survive if the world of Night of the Living Dead was on infinite continue. The comic has become so popular that it's now spawned a TV show counterpart on AMC which kicks just as much ass. So regardless of who comes to the genre and leaves it, zombies continue to slowly stagger their way to progress through the world of pop culture.
Do not bring that trash up in here, motherfucker. This is my house.
Coming to AMC. From the director of The Shawshank Redemption and the producer of The Terminator.
Things are different now. There's us and the dead.
We ought to warn people away from the city.
Folks got no idea what they're getting into.
The Walking Dead premieres October 31st at 10/9 Central, only on AMC.